What's up, nerds? It's Shane with Guys at Magic, and I'm back with Hunter. Say what up, dude.
What's going on, everybody?
We've done the 100, now we're doing the 300 for the Angels. They're just like us, but cooler with wings. Secret Lair. Isn't that right, Hunter?
That is correct. We are doing an awesome Secret Lair upgrade.
Let's just jump into it then. Before we get into the additions, do you want to just once again remind the people about the Face Commander and what we're doing with it?
Yeah, so quickly, we'll talk about what the deck originally wanted to do, and that was brand new art for Bruna the Fading Light and Gisela the Broken Blade. Together, they make Brisella, Voice of Nightmares. Very awesome new art by Scott M. Fisher. What is kind of like really what made this deck go. Except they had another card in the 99 called Giada, Font of Hope. That is also a legendary creature that can be your commander, and that is what we're doing. We are swapping out any of those two for Giada, Font of Hope, which is 1 and a white for a 2/2 legendary creature angel. It's got flying and vigilance, and it says each other angel you control enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it for each angel you already control. You can also tap it to add a white. Spend this mana only to cast an angel's spell. So, caring about angels, making them big, going in for damage. Giada, Font of Hope is our commander.
And like you said, this Secret Lair was a great shell for anyone trying to get into the Angel deck. And that's what you're doing.
That is exactly what I'm doing. I purchased this shell, and it's got a lot of awesome angel reprints. It's just really good to get started with angels.
All right, and before we jump into the additions, we'll just throw up on screen all the additions from the $100 list. If anyone missed that video, it'll be down in the description. You can check it out, and you can see why Hunter added these cards. He'll go into more in-depth analysis on all that. But you've loved them in the 100. They're staying in the 300.
Yep, they are all staying in the 300. Now we got a couple more $100 to add to it.
All right, well, that was the 100. Let's get into the 300, man. I'm excited. Show me some new cards.
Yeah, first and foremost, we'll start with the creatures. We're throwing in a couple new angels and a god. First up, Resplendent Angel. 1 and 2 white for a 3/3 creature angel. It's got flying. It says at the beginning of each end step, if you gained 5 or more life this turn, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying and vigilance. Has another ability, we can pay 3 and 3 white. It says until end of turn, Resplendent Angel gets +2/+2 and gains lifelink. So it has that ability to go ahead and swing in for that 5 damage to get the 5 life to make a 4/4 angel. And we have a lot of other ways in the deck. We have a different theme of life gain in the deck already, so hitting that 5 is not that hard.
That's a fantastic card. I love cards that proc themselves, which it does.
Mm-hmm. Another angel we're throwing in here is Angel of Jubilation. It is 1 and 3 white for a 3/3 creature angel. It's got flying. It says other non-black creatures you control get +1/+1. And it says players can't pay life or sacrifice creatures to cast spells or activate abilities. Kind of a stacksy piece here. Luckily, we're mono white, so that +1/+1 is going on all of our creatures. And those 3 white pips doesn't matter in a mono-colored deck.
You're right. This is also a pseudo Lord, dude. I love saying Lord.
A pseudo non-black lord.
Lord.
And the final creature we're throwing in here, which most likely won't be a creature all the time, Heliod Sun Crowned. It is 2 and a white for a 5/5 legendary enchantment creature god. Got indestructible, says as long as your devotion to white is less than 7, Heliod isn't a creature. And whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature or enchantment you control. It has another ability, we could pay 1 and a white. It says another target creature gains lifelink until end of turn. So just another life gain piece into the deck that also gives counters, and that's what we kind of want to do.
Best of both worlds.
Best of both worlds, Heliod Suncrowned.
I like those creatures a lot. Talk to me about some other additions.
Yeah, we're throwing in another Planeswalker. If you've seen from the 100, we also threw one in there too. This one, actually, I feel like I should have added to the 100 originally, but I kind of forgot about it. This is Sarah the Benevolent. 2 white for a starting loyalty of 4. Has a +2 ability that says creatures you control with flying get +1/+1 until end of turn. Has a -3 that says create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying and vigilance. And a -6, which is its ultimate that says you get an emblem with if you control a creature. Damage that would reduce your life total to less than 1 reduces it to 1 instead. So we can't die from combat damage.
As long as you control a creature.
As long as we control the creature. That's right.
Seems like a very
Uh,
good planeswalker for you.
It is a great planeswalker. Just we're an angel themed deck, so all of our angels are gonna have flying, so they're all gonna get that +1/+1 until end of turn, and just the ability just to make another 4/4, which depending on how many angels we can come in, if we have 3 other angels, it'll come in with 3 +1/+1 counters. So it'll be a 7/7 angel.
Yeah, this is a very strong planeswalker in the deck. What else are you adding in for, let's say, some cool spells?
Yeah, some cool spells. We want to kind of protect our stuff, and also we just kind of want to not protect our stuff with these 2 cards. First and foremost, Teferi's Protection. 2 and a white for an instant. And until your next turn, your life total can't change, and you gain protection from everything. All permanents you control phase out. Exile Teferi's Protection. Best protection spell in the game, in my opinion. You just kind of blank yourself for until your next turn, until you phase back in. You're just untouchable at that point.
Yeah, I love this card.
We're also just adding a Wrath of God, 2 white for sorcery, destroy all creatures, they can't be regenerated. There are some effects in the deck that destroy everything. Wrath of God is just simple and to the point. I like it a lot better, and you'll see in the cuts that I might actually be taking out one of those worse destroy spells, in my opinion.
Talk to me about maybe some more enchantments? Question mark.
I do love my enchantments. We are a +1/+1 counter deck. And what is a better +1/+1 counter enchantment than Cathar's Crusade? It is 3 and 2 white for an enchantment that says whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. We are making the team so big. It's gonna
This can
get
get out of hand with your commander, right? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, our commander makes counters for our angels. This makes counters for our angels. We got counters and flying, and it's gonna do a lot of damage in the air.
Yeah, that's gonna be very annoying.
And of course, a white enchantment that is a staple in a lot of decks is Smothering Tithe. It is 3 and a white for an enchantment that says whenever an opponent draws a card, that player may pay 2. If the player doesn't, you create a treasure token. You want to pay the 2? Otherwise, give me some treasure. We're all about making mana around here. Smothering Tide is the best enchantment to do so.
Don't worry, I'll be paying my taxes.
Go out and pick up your copy now because this just keeps getting reprinted, and it's down to about $13 at the time of this video.
That's pretty wild to me too, dude. That's crazy. Are you doing anything with the artifacts?
Yep, I'm adding some artifacts in here. Archaeomancer's Map, which I think is one of the best pseudo ramp spells in white. Is 2 and a white for an artifact that says when it enters the battlefield, search your library for up to 2 basic plains cards, reveal them, put it in your hand, then shuffle. And it also says whenever a land enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, if that player controls more lands than you, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. So we're always going to be right there with our opponents if we have lands in our hand.
Fantastic.
It's great. Great card. Another great card is Mox Amber. 0 mana for a legendary artifact. You can tap it to add 1 mana of any color among legendary creatures and planeswalkers you control. So, as always, tap for a white as long as you got some on the board.
Yeah, that's it's gonna be easy for you, I think, dude. You're gonna have
I-
lots of angels.
Lots of angels, lots of ramp, lots of mana.
It also helps that your commander is 2 mana.
It does indeed.
And lastly, are you adding any new lands?
I am adding some powerful lands. This is kind of where the $300 budget really came in handy because these lands are fantastic. First one, Cavern of Souls. As it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. We are going to say angels. You can tap it to add a colorless, or you can tap it to add 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana only to cast a creature spell of the chosen type, and that spell can't be countered. So we will be getting those counters on our angels pretty much guaranteed with Cavern of Souls coming out.
Yeah, fantastic card. In any kind of tribal deck, it's fantastic.
Oh yeah. Cavern of Souls is the best tribal land. Plaza of Heroes also getting in here. You can tap it to add a colorless, or you can tap it to add 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana only to cast a legendary spell. Or you could tap it to add 1 mana of any color among legendary permanents you control. And it has another ability. You can pay 3, tap it, exile Plaza of Heroes. Target legendary creature gains hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. So I'm throwing this in here. Not only does it able to be tapping for white whenever you want to, just that ability to destroy this if we need to. Exile Plaza Heroes just to give our legendary protection and hexproof. Let's say Avacyn is on the field. It has indestructible, but what about those pesky Swords to Plowshares and Path to Exile? We'll just give it a hexproof and they can't target it.
Yeah, I think when this card first came out, I was saying that this could just really go in any EDH deck, man. Just
Oh,
that
yeah.
added protection for all your commanders, and it can help you cast your commander. Like, this card just, it does a lot of stuff for a land, dude.
It does do a lot of stuff for a land. This other land also does a lot of stuff for a land as well. This is Urza's Saga. It is an enchantment land, Urza's Saga. Its first lore counter says it gains tap, add a colorless. Second lore counter says Urza's Saga gains pay 2, tap it, create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature token with this creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. And its third and final lore counter says search your library for an artifact card with mana cost 0 or 1, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Urza Saga is so good in this deck because we can go and tutor up a Mox Amber, an Ozolith, a Soul Ring. We got a lot of good little things to go get.
Yeah, you didn't get your turn 1 Soul Ring? Well, you'll still get it.
You still get it. This land will do it for free.
All right, and with that, is that the additions for your 300?
That is all the additions for the $300 upgrade to Angels. They're just like us, but cooler and with wings.
So that means they're not really like us then.
They're just cooler and with wings.
True. All right, well, we did all those great additions, Hunter. Now we got to talk about some cuts. But before we get into the cuts, let's throw up on screen all of the cuts from the 100 since we are bringing in all of those additions. Once again, if you'd like to see why Hunter's doing this, in the description, you can watch the $100 video. I'll go over all the cuts, but we are in the 300, so we need to cut a couple more things. So let's just jump into those, Hunter. What are we cutting?
So unfortunately, I am cutting some Angels from the deck. I know, it's sad. These Angels aren't going to make it. First one, Angel of Finality. 3 and a white for a 3/4 creature angel. It's got flying. It says when it enters the battlefield, exile target player's graveyard. Really sucks for that one player. But in the grand scheme of things, it is just not enough for our deck anymore. Sunblast Angel is 4 and 2 white for a 4/5 creature angel. It's got flying, and it says when Sunblast Angel enters the battlefield, destroy all tapped creatures. Really cool, but it's not guaranteed to kill the whole board. And if we really needed it, Sunblast Angel just kind of isn't going to do it for us, especially at 6 mana.
Yeah, it's like it could be something, but it might not.
Speaking of 6 mana, we're still cutting off the top of the deck. This is Dawnbreak Reclaimer. It is 4 and 2 white for a 5/5 creature angel. It's got flying. It says at the beginning of your end step, choose a creature card in an opponent's graveyard. Then that player chooses a creature card in your graveyard. You may return those cards to the battlefield under their owner's control. I'm not in the exact mood to give my opponents their stuff back. This always triggers, so you're always going to have to do it.
Yeah, hopefully you can pick like something little on them, but yeah, I know I can see you don't want to get them anything.
They're also going to probably pick the littlest thing for you too. It's just you can't control that there.
Are we also going to say bye to any instants and sorceries?
We are going to say goodbye to some instants and sorceries. First one I'm getting rid of is Cleansing Nova. 3, 2 white. Sorcery, choose 1. Destroy all creatures. Or destroy all artifacts and enchantments. I mean, I like the destroy all artifacts and enchantments, but at the same time, we have some really awesome artifacts and enchantments in this deck, and I don't want to destroy my own. And for 5 mana to destroy all creatures isn't worth it either. Wrath of God was added for this reason. Invoke the Divine is 2 and a white for an instant. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. You gain 4 life. Man, this is literally 1 penny. You can go out and pick this up for 1 penny, this card. It's just, it's not going to do it for me here. I get it. You want to gain the life here because we had that other theme of the life gain. But just destroy one thing. For 3 mana, I want to play something else.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, are you going to cut any artifacts to make room for some artifacts?
I mentioned in the 100 there's a lot of artifacts in this deck. So yeah, I'm cutting 3 more. The first one, Everflowing Chalice. It is a 0 mana for an artifact that has a multi-kicker cost of 2, which means you can pay that as many times as you want. Everflowing Chalice enters the battlefield with a charge counter on it for each time it was kicked. You can tap it to add a colorless for each charge counter on it. I don't really want to sink a bunch of mana into Everflowing Chalice, especially since we're a monocolored deck. It doesn't make any colors for us. So, Everflowing Chalice, just not enough. We got a lot of cool stuff that ramps us and makes mana. Smothering Tithe, for example, makes treasure that can sacrifice for white. I think that's better. Mind Stone is also leaving the deck for 2 generic mana. It's an artifact. Tap it to add a colorless, or you can pay 1, tap it, sacrifice Mind Stone to draw a card. We have a lot of card draw in the deck. So much card draw. So for a basic mana rock here that can draw you 1 card eventually, Mind Stone is not as good. I would say Mox Amber is a lot better.
I think I would agree with you on that one, bud.
Yeah. Endless Atlas was one that was a little bit more difficult to cut. This is 2 generic mana for an artifact. You can pay 2, tap it to draw a card. Activate this ability only if you control 3 or more lands with the same name. We have a ton of planes in this deck, so it's not that hard to do. But I keep repeating this over and over. We have so many ways to draw cards in this deck. I think we just didn't need this one in the end.
Makes sense, man. I mean, and we're also doing upgrades here, so we're cutting out some stuff to add more powerful things.
Exactly that.
Speaking of, are we cutting any enchantments for all your powerful enchantments?
All my powerful enchantments are staying in. This enchantment is coming out. I really debated on cutting this one. This was my final cut of the deck. This is Kindred Boon. It is 2 and 2 white for an enchantment. As it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Obviously, we would say angels. You could pay 1 and a white to put a divinity counter on target creature you control of the chosen type. Each creature you control with a divinity counter on it has indestructible. So you can keep paying the 2 and just putting indestructible counters all over our creatures. But I don't know. This one, I looked at the deck as a whole and I said Avacyn gives everything indestructible already. There are other ways to just kind of protect our stuff. Kindred Boon is just sinking mana into giving different things counters. We could just take our turn off and just give all of our stuff counters down the road. But Kindred Boon's leaving.
Yeah, I mean, hey, like you said too. In an upgrade, if someone's watching and they wanted to keep it in, then hey, keep it in. But for yours, you're cutting it. Makes sense. And are you making any adjustments to the lands?
Yeah, I'm gonna make a quick and easy adjustment here. We are taking out a plains and a plains and a plains and a plains. We're taking out 4 plains. So we are going down and dropping our land count to 37, which is still very, very kind of high, but very doable. So 4 plains, leaving the deck.
Yeah, that, again, makes sense. You're adding in 3 fantastic lands, cutting out just 1 extra land. In these mono decks, dude, I can see you easily going down to like 35. So staying at 37 is just fine. All right, and is that everything? Is that your cuts and additions for the 300?
That are all my additions and my cuts for this $300 upgrade to Angels. They're just like us, but cooler and with wings.
Right on. Well, if someone's watching this and they want to go pick up all these cards, what did your total come to?
Yep, so all of the additions from the 100 and these new additions to add up to make 300 actually came in a little below 300. So the total for all those cards is $298.73.
Nice, just under. Right on, dude. Do you have any final thoughts you'd like to bestow on this deck? I know you've been saying how you're excited, so one more time, tell us how excited you are.
I am so excited. Giada Font of Hope is such a powerful commander. It gets out of hand so quickly. Just the ability to put a 1/1 counter on a creature that enters. It's not on cast, it's on enter. So we've got things that make angel tokens. Those will come in with counters as well. And Angels are just so evasive with flying. It's so much damage so quickly.
Yeah, I've also been kind of eyeing an angel deck, so when you get tired of playing this, I might be asking to play it.
I don't think I'll get tired of playing this anytime soon, man.
Well, I'm gonna wait a couple weeks. It's fine. All right, well, this is the time now where everyone that's watching, now's your time to leave Hunter some feedback. Drop him a comment. Did you like his additions? Did he miss a card that you think should be in the deck? We love hearing the feedback. In the description, you'll also find the Mox build link. So if you're looking to pick up these additions, click the Mox build link, check it out. Also down in the description, you'll find all of our social media, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. It's all going to be at Guys at Magic. Like the video if you liked it. Make sure you subscribe to Guys at Magic. You don't want to miss any upcoming content. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.
Later.